There we go. It takes a couple minutes for it to show up. Wait a minute. Where is it? Anyone here? Today we're doing more printing, just on a different block. Sorry, this takes a couple minutes to get going. Here we go. All right. Good morning, Z Fluffinator. It's almost noon. Today we're doing, I open these curtains, but they're kind of in the way. I'm gonna close these so we don't get that direct sunlight. Tonight we're printing on a different block. I just finished carving. And it was a reduction print. I was at this stage here. And then I was carving this water, and I knew it was going to be difficult to carve into this because it's so complicated and so busy. So I just decided to cut a new block. So this is the second block on a reductive print. And this is a landscape. So I'm just going to spray this with a little water to get started. I have my pigment here. Oh, I need a brush still. Let me get a brush. And I might need my tool to block these Kento areas, which is just a little palette knife that I use. Here it is. I'll just use this little palette knife to block the pigment from. Yeah, I apologize if there's noise. I'm in New York City. Yesterday's stream went really well without any noise, which was amazing. But today's a different day. So you never know what you're going to get. So hopefully it works out. So when we get a new block ready for printing, we just like to spray with a little water. Brush it for a little while. Maybe put a little paste on there. Alberta. Scott from Alberta, thanks for joining us. What's this clear liquid he's asking? First of all, I'm going to just show you the color we're working with here. It's a nice blue color that we're working with. The clear liquid in here is called rice paste, and it just acts as like a binder, and it smooths out the pigment on the block so you get a nice even impression. Yeah, today is definitely going to be a little bit different with all this noise that's already happening. So I apologize for the noise. It's going to be a pretty dark color, so I'm going to really add some pigment right off the bat. This is getting towards the end of the print. Yeah, right now we have currently, I don't know if you can hear it, but nori is starch paste, usually rice, corn based, yeah. Yeah, you can use like the synthetic like paste like nori or any kind of water-based paste. You can make it with real rice, like a rice starch, but then you'll run into problems and issues with mold and other issues. You have a very short window to use it. this like synthetic stuff is water-based stuff. The shelf life is for years. I don't think you'll ever run into a problem. So let's take a little impression and see what this looks like. Just a piece of scrap paper. And there we have our water, our ripples in the water. And if you can make it out, a little island in a lake, and in the distance there's some mountains. And I'm starting to add some depth here with this line that goes through. So I think it's going to needs to be a little bit darker than that. And I'll show you the print here soon. So this image is from Lake George in New York. It's about 4 hours from New York City. It's in the Adirondacks. And I visit there like once or twice a year. I have a friend who's from there, and he's nice enough to let us stay on his property with his family. And so me and my wife and my son get to go here once or twice a year and enjoy the beautiful lake. And it's really an amazing spot in the world. And I love the little islands that are all over there's over 170 islands on the lake. And I was working on this print, probably started like a year ago, and I just put it down, and I wanted to get back to it because I have an exhibition that there's a deadline coming up, and I think that this print would be perfect for the exhibition. So I was like, well, I have like a week to finish this print. So I was like, oh, I could just squeeze that into my already too busy schedule. You know, no problem. So it seems like I'm printing a different woodblock every day, and that's because I am. What's up, Worthy? Working hard again today. Yeah, man, this print's really cool. You will like this one, I think. It's of a Recluse Island, I believe. I think it's Recluse. And supposedly that island's haunted, right? There's a great-grandmother or something that's on the island that haunts it, or the house that's on it. I think he used to work on it. She used to work on that island for the family. I don't know what the history is of the haunted island, but it's a really cool little island, and there's one house on it. Alright, so I want to show you the print where it's currently at. That's right here. Check out that. I love the sky in this print. It's reductive print. This is like evening as the sun's going down behind the mountains, and you get these nice little clouds, some yellows and purples and blues. So let's see. This is just a test sheet. It's one of the first sheets. It's on just a basic sheet of paper. So let's see what this does. Hopefully it's all lined up. So this is the exciting part. We don't know what it's going to look like. So I'm here to share it with you. This is why I like printing so much. Because I cut this new block. I made a decision. Hopefully it all lines up. I don't know what's going to happen. This could be a big mistake. The color I chose could be wrong. And, you know, I'm doing it live and publicly here for all you to see. So let's see what happens. But it's like Christmas morning. When you wake up in the morning, you run downstairs and you see the trees got presents underneath it and Santa came. That's how I feel right now. So hopefully you all can be excited with me here. All right, here we go. The reveal. Ooh. Ooh. It's rich. It's rich. It's getting interesting. That water's looking deep, and I think the deepest part of the lake is 196 feet deep. Does that sound right, Worthy? 196 feet between Dome Island and Buck Mountain, the deepest part of the lake, which is in this area, actually. It's actually on the other side of this island, further back. So I think we're looking towards, we're looking like northeast in this photograph, from this photograph that I took. So yeah, I worked this image from a photograph. So that's currently what we're looking at. I like the value. So I'm trying to get this depth here of the mountains. Thanks, Worth. Yeah, and then trying to get these depth of the mountains in the distance. And I'm starting to bring in this water behind the island, this little line. So there's only going to be one or two more impressions after this. So it's going to be pretty dark, evening glow. So I like the water. It's a little, the registration's a little off, I'd say. If you look down here at the corner, I have to really be careful. I don't want to move too far ahead if the registration is off. I think it has to come, this block, it has to come down a little, meaning, so it's always opposite. So if I want the block to come down, that means I have to have the paper go up. So if I move this paper up, the image will come down. And I think it has to come down very slightly. Not much. Just on this side. So on this side, so it would have to go just up a little bit. So the next one I do, I'm just going to leave a little bit of gap and see if that evens it out. But it's really not that bad. I think it's pretty good. It's an interesting effect that it's having in the water. And if that's the case, and if I have to move, so let me just do one more. We'll see where we're at before I make any decisions. It's always good to print a couple. A sea hare and a half? Well, I don't know what that means. What do you mean by that? Oh, it's definitely recluse. Good afternoon, Atelier Thune. It's almost up. It's 12:02. It's officially afternoon. Everyone's on their lunch break, so I timed this perfectly. Everyone can join in while they're eating their sandwich for lunch. Yeah, I'm really enjoying these live streams. So I have to do this work anyways. Like, this is my work for the day. So I'd rather do it with you guys and talk to you and show you the whole process. So here goes another test sheet. And let's see if this one's lined up a little more. I'm going to really pay attention to when I put it in the registration. Make sure that paper doesn't move. So it's 5 o'clock where this gentleman is in Europe. Where in Europe are you? Based on your name, maybe Poland? Nice, I guess you're right. I don't know if you noticed, but my last name is Polish as well. All right, let's see what this looks like. Yeah, I'm liking the effect that it's having. Like, especially from a distance, I feel like that's making a nice water, giving it a nice water feel. I don't know, is that looking accurate for you, Worthy? Does that look like, is that looking like the lake? Evening lake? See, I'm worried about this little registration here. It's just a little low. But I don't think it really matters, to be honest with you. I think I just trimmed the border a little differently on this one. Yeah, I know. Only I will notice it, but that's like the whole idea of being a printmaker. You have to like really pay attention to these small things, because it'll bother you. It'll haunt you. After doing all this work, you're like, damn, I should have went back and made that change, or you know, it'll mess with you for a while. You can't even see what I'm talking about. I know. So right here, see this, like, it's hard to, there's like a little blue gap there. It's probably like a millimeter, half a millimeter on the border. I don't think it matters. It's still looking really good. I'm going to use this block for the rest of it, so I'll probably move forward. I could cut this Kento a little bit differently, but I think we're okay. So all in all, I like the value of it. I like the color. So let's keep moving forward. Might even go a little darker. This next one. So the next sheet is the good paper. It's more of a, the pelt paper I just used was a little yellow. I'll just hold this out here. Let's see here. Yeah. So the sheet that's the good paper is more white. So it might look a little bit different. No, I don't toss I don't toss it out. I just keep it as a reference, the cheaper paper. I don't like sell it. I just keep it as a reference. But it's always good to put a couple sheets of inexpensive paper in the stack first, so that when you're doing the new impression and you're working out your colors and values, you mess those up first, not the good stack. So I always throw at least 2, but sometimes I'll put like 4, just to make sure. All right, here we go with the good paper. I'll show you the, you can see the difference. Yeah, the sun, it looks like the sun's bursting through the clouds. It's more like an evening glow. I'm going for that, like, evening glow. And there's like a little bit of sun left in the sky, like setting in the west, and we're looking east, I think. Like the sun just went below the mountain. You know, the evening boat ride. All right, let's see what this looks like. Yeah, see, this is lined up. This is lined up perfect. So it was just that paper. So you can see this is not, there's no gap on this one. So this is a thicker, a better quality paper. I just want to make sure we can still see that mountain, the division there between the depth of the mountains. It's subtle, but it's there. I'm liking that. But yeah, I really like the sky in this. I really took my time and did some nice little textured carving so that you get that glow off the clouds. Yeah, I'm liking this the way it is. I'm just wondering if it's dark enough. Could go maybe a little darker. So when these dry, this is wet now. When it dries, sometimes you lose a value, a shade of value. So I think I have to go a little bit darker. I'm just going to put that sheet back in. I'm not going to add any pigment. I'm just going to use what's in the brush for the moment. I'm going to just run that one again to see if I can get it a little bit deeper in value. And if you register the print exactly the same every time, it should line up every single time. So what I'm about to do is dangerous, but I'm pretty confident that I can get it lined up exactly the same. But again, I want to get this figured out before I move forward. So I'm taking the same print that I just did. I'm going to do it again, second time. So exactly the same position. Let's see if that adds a little bit of depth. Yeah, so see here now, a little bit darker. There's a little bit more. And I like that better. So I need to really saturate this block with some blue. And the next one will be, maybe only one more impression after this, which will be like a black, almost black. It's definitely better. All right, then that's confirmed with Mr. Russell. It's definitely better. We will be moving forward with this one. That's our goal. So I'll put that, I'm putting these in the drying rack, but I'll keep that out. And these have already dried a little bit. You can see how it's already become a little bit more subtle. kind of lightens in tone, so you could see the difference there. So yeah, we got to push it a little bit darker than we want, so that after it dries, let's look at the difference in the papers here. This is the test sheet, and this is the nice paper. So you get a totally different feel and a totally different read on the same print. This is a little more yellow, and this is thicker, and the pigment goes deeper into the paper, and you can see the difference. So we just keep on moving forward. It's like 6 healthy drops of pigment. And you know, this block is soaking the pigment up as I go. So the more impressions I do, the more I don't have to keep loading it with pigment. And the brush is getting filled with the pigment as well. So as I go along, in theory, I'll have to just use less ink for each one.
Calling Apple Incorporated. Name.
What? That was weird. My iPad just did something. All right, this is the before. I might change to a different Baron. This is very light Baron. I'm gonna get a different Baron. Excuse me. Okay, this is a heavier Baron. Put more pressure into the surface. "12 people on here. Welcome, everyone. We're printing lake views of the Adirondacks today." Yeah, that's nice. I'm excited about that. Looks real nice. Makes me wanna go up there and go for a boat ride. 2 dots of paste, 6 dots of pigment. You know, some other artists, like the Hudson River Valley painters, have done some amazing paintings of Lake George. Kensett, I forget his first name. William Kensett? Kensett, Kensett. He's done some really amazing landscapes in the Hudson River Valley style of Lake George. There's a few of them in the Met. They're huge too. They're like 8 feet wide by like 4 feet tall. They're huge. They're amazing. And then who else? Oh, Georgia O'Keeffe. Her husband at the time, who was a photographer, Stieglitz, I believe. She summered up there in the beginning of her career, and she painted made a few paintings up there, maybe 5 or 6. And that's really where her style Georgia O'Keeffe. It's really where she developed her style of painting, was when she was up there working. She was influenced by the mountains and the lake. And that was early on in her career. Yeah, Georgia O'Keeffe. David Smith, metal artist from Georgia, from Lake George. What, he's a big artist up there? David Smith? That's good to know. Yeah, there's a lot of history that's on that lake. I know the British and the French battled over that lake. There's a fort down in Lake George. There's a fort that they built, the British. And then the next lake up, not too far away, like an hour, 45 minutes away, is Lake Champlain. And they wanted that water route from Canada down to the Hudson River Valley area. So Lake George and Champlain was a heavily battled area for the trade route, I think. Pretty sure. Something like that. But I spent time on both lakes, Champlain and Lake George. And Lake George, by far, is way more beautiful. But the view from Vermont across Lake Champlain, they have a better view because they actually get to see the Adirondack Mountains. And if you're on the New York side of Champlain looking across, you get to see the Green Mountains and off way in the distance, but you know, you're looking towards like Burlington and rolling farm fields and stuff, so it's not as interesting. So Vermont is lucky because they have the better view across Lake Champlain. But on Lake George, it doesn't matter where you are, every view is amazing. Well, there's my neighbor starting his car. And there he goes. He's going to work. He's a bus driver, so he's got to go get his bus and go pick up the kiddies from school. How are we looking? Is this passing the inspection? So you can see, look at this. This is the first one I did. It's already dried. Look at how much it fades or lightens up in value. So this is the one we just did. And this is the one that we started with. And look how much it's lightened up in value. So after these are all dry, you know, I might have to come back and do another impression on top of this. So you can see the difference. It's Big difference. But also, the mountains back here in this one are a little darker than this one. This is a little lighter. So I'm just going to keep going. In the end, when they're all dry, I can analyze them all together as a group. And if I have to do this impression again to make it darker, I will do so. So for now, I'm just going to roll with what we're doing. Cannons, Ticonderoga, so it's a very historical area. Another historical area, which is about half a mile, maybe even less, a third of a mile from my front door, is the rock where the Native Americans made the agreement to lend their land to the Dutch, right? The Dutch lend their land, and it was just for like, you know, a couple things. And the Dutch thought it was a trade. Like, here's Manhattan for some guns and some bowls and some pots and pans. And really, it was just, they were allowed to stay on the land, like rent it or lease it. They were supposed to give it back, but they never did. And that rock, and where that transaction was made, is in Inwood Park, which is right over the bridge here for me. So that's kind of the same time period. A little later. Or earlier, I don't know. I don't know what came first. So quality control, it's still there, it's still printing well. I'm enjoying the way this is turning out. So you can really see the pigment coming through the back of the paper. So these fibers in this paper just soak in the pigment. And it doesn't bleed out like 100% cotton paper. It doesn't like bleed because I sized the paper with a glue that has alum in it and like an animal glue. So the glue holds the fibers together, makes it strong, so the fibers don't peel up, and the alum prevents it from bleeding into the fibers. It stops it. And most paper, even copy paper, printer paper, other art papers, watercolor papers that are internally sized, has the same stuff in it. Some glue and alum. Yeah, I love the history of the Hudson River Valley. I'd like to learn more about it. And the Hudson River Valley painters is some of my favorite painters. Hello again from South Africa. Hey, Marius. Is it Marius or Marius? Welcome back. How was your dinner last night? I've been thinking about air-fried pork chops all night. I told my wife, I said, you gotta pick up those pork chops, supplies for pork chops again. I don't know if you're still on, but and then I got a really good bicycle ride in yesterday. Worth, you'd be proud of me. Did 28 miles. And towards the end I did some sprint intervals, like 20-second intervals, 20 seconds hard, 20-second recovery. And I did that for like the last 20 minutes or something, man. No, maybe not that long, maybe like the last 15 minutes. But I was pretty wiped out. And I slept really good last night because of it. So I'm training for rock climbing. So I'm laying off the pork chops and getting some more exercise during the week. It was windy yesterday. I was feeling great on the way out. I was flying. And on the way back was kind of hard. I always forget that. You should check the direction of wind. Before you go on a long bike ride, always check the direction of the wind. And figure out which direction you're predominantly riding in so you know. So you can gauge how much effort you need to put in. That's pro tip. Yeah, I'd like to do a row, an erg. I wish I had access to an erg machine. I do at the climbing gym, but I don't like doing cardio in the climbing gym because there's so much chalk dust in the air. And there's just like people everywhere. It's not really a nice little gym area they have at my climbing gym. Their gym at my climbing gym was an afterthought. They're like, there's this little area underneath the staircase we can throw a treadmill, an erg, a bench, and some hand weights, some barbells, and then of course, chin-up bars, hang boards, and that's about it. But they have one of those like moon boards, or I don't know what they are. Those boards that you can program upstairs that nobody ever uses. They could take that whole area and turn that into a gym. Maybe I'll suggest that to them. Because nobody uses that 45-degree crazy moon board. I've never seen anyone up there. They could turn that whole area into a really nice gym. Tomorrow I'm headed to Brooklyn, to this new place. It's a new like arts venue. It's called Powerhouse. It's in Gowanus in Brooklyn. In Gowanus, near Park Slope. And it's an old, it's like an old power plant. They turned steam or something into power. But they redesigned the building. It's just this huge industrial building. It's really cool looking. But there's a print fair for the weekend. And I'm a member of SAGA, which is the Society of Graphic Arts. And I'm going to go. Tomorrow's the install day. They have a booth. So it's a fair with multiple booths, and there's different galleries and artists that are involved in it. It's for the whole weekend. And tomorrow's install day. And I just donated my time tomorrow to get some footage of them installing the booth. And then Friday is the opening. And I'm going to go for the opening and also document some activity on the opening night. And I'm going to make a couple Instagram posts for them, maybe 1 or 2 YouTube videos just for their channel. They're not too active on YouTube. But I just told them that I would start to volunteer my time and help them with their social media, because it's all volunteer. So you pay an annual dues to be a member, which is it's very inexpensive. And they put on like 2 exhibitions a year. But now this year is the first time they've been involved in this Powerhouse print exhibition. It's their first one, and they're really excited about it. So they want to document it. And I volunteered. So tomorrow I'm headed there. I'm going to be busy for the next couple days doing that. So I can't get out climbing, unfortunately, this week up in the gunks. But that's okay. Go make some new connections. Talk to some new artists and galleries. It's all around printmaking, different kinds of printmaking. And it's inexpensive to go check it out. I think it's only like a ticket. I think it's open Saturday and Sunday to the public. I think it's only like $15 to go in. So you can check it out if you want. It's an old industrial building. It's really amazing what they've done with it. And now it's like a community arts center. There is a professional print shop that their business is established in that building. And they work with big artists. And they run editions, all kinds of printmaking, like professional printmaking. So that'll be fun. But I do enjoy like editing videos and making videos on YouTube. I really do enjoy the process. It's just another creative outlet for me. And doing these live streams is fun too. Well, I'm glad you got a partner for Friday. I was worried about that. Well, since you're on here so much, Worth, maybe you can be my monitor when these streams get like really busy with thousands of people. Maybe you can monitor the live streams, the lunch time live streams. Make sure everyone's behaving. Oh my gosh. Well, I appreciate that, Worth. Thanks for thinking of me first. All right, we got about 8 more sheets. It's 10 people. It says 7 there. On mine it says 9 now. It's another nice day out there. It looks like it's less windy today. What's the wind like out there today, Captain? It's got to be less wind than yesterday. Yesterday was pretty windy. Are you trying to get out on Saturday too? Because I could do a Saturday, I think. I might be able to go Saturday. Gotta just double check the schedule. Yeah. I don't know what's going on this weekend. Anyone else out there want to ask me a question? Or let me know where you're at in the world. There's 8 people on here. Who else is out there? Don't be shy. It's always important to keep these edges cleaned as you go. So this is what we're printing today. Still here in Alberta. Scott. Nice. You here yesterday, Scott? I don't remember. But thanks for sticking around. You've been here the whole time. Scotland. Nice. I'd love to go to Scotland someday. I want to just paint like the greens of Scotland, the hills and the misty gray weather with the lush greens. That would be ideal as a painter, a landscape painter. That's where you want to go. And study atmosphere and distance and texture, and that would be amazing. Someone from North Carolina checking in. Oh, Fluffernutter. I haven't had a Fluffernutter sandwich in a long time. Man, those used to be my go-to when I was a kid, though. My mom would never let me eat them. Once in a while, she'd buy it for us. Your question is, Z, how I approach carving the small block mounted on the plywood for the climber from yesterday. So I have it here. So I just glued down a small piece of cherry, and I just made it a little bit larger than I needed it to be, but I knew where it needed to be because I had my transfer sheet, and I just positioned it, glued it down, and then I had a new registration cut here. And then these blocks here are just to support the paper so it doesn't flop over. But yeah, I just needed that little area, so I just took some American cherry and glued it right in the exact position so I don't waste wood. And that plywood that it's on is just like 1/16 inch plywood from Blick. If you go on blick.com, and you can get like a 10 pack of that. I think it's 8x10 or 9x11 size. Just like cheap plywood panels that you could paint on. They're not very nice for painting. They warp. They're too thin, but they're inexpensive, and I use them sometimes for different applications. So I hope that answers your question. The light is amazing in Scotland, I bet. I mean, from the photos I've seen and videos, I know you have some really interesting clouds and light coming through, rain. You probably can get rain, snow, sun, all in one vantage point. Also, is it true that in Scotland that all land is open to hiking and cycling? Doesn't matter if it's private or not, you're allowed to hike and walk and camp on anyone's property as long as you close the gate, right? Is that how it works in Scotland? Which I find really interesting. Here in America, if you go walking on someone's property and set up a tent, I mean, you can figure out what's going to happen to you next. It's sick the dogs on you. Oh, camp? No. So you can walk. Okay. So you can you can go on a long hike through people's properties, but you can't camp. You know what? I bet you they're nice enough. If you asked the landowner, they probably would let you if you had to. But I'm not sure. Yeah, it's on the bucket list for travel. But right now, I don't think I'm going anywhere. Not until our current condition gets sorted out. I know you have done plenty of the American cherry. How does it compare to blocks from Japan? So the American cherry compared to the cherry from Japan, the cherry from Japan is much more dense. It's got more, the grain is tighter. It's not as open grain. And it also has, so it'll hold more detail. You can get much finer lines, especially cross grain. But it really depends on how well and what your experience is with carving. Because I've done some pretty detailed stuff with the American cherry. I've done some pretty detailed stuff with Shina plywood. So it really depends on the wood. And sometimes I've gotten Japanese cherry that is a awkward, like really wild, and it really shows the grain in the print. So you don't really get the good stuff from Japan. I mean, the wood is good quality, but I don't know. When you order from Japan, you don't really know what you don't get to select it. They just send you whatever they want. So I've had good stuff and I've had some bad stuff. But there's also this, like, I don't know what it is, but it's like a natural oil. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a natural oil or resin that's in the Japanese cherry. And it just feels like it has like more of an oily, resinous additive to it. And the American cherry is sometimes really dry and it chips out easily at times. It just depends. But if I had a choice, like, I would use the Japanese cherry over any wood, probably 90% of the time. But I enjoy using the American cherry. So quality check, we're still at the right level. We're basing it off of this distant mountains and that. Let's pull one over here from the beginning that's dry, and you can see how much it it loses a whole shade of value when it dries. So this is one currently. So you always have to print darker than you expect. It looks really dark, almost black. But after it dries, you lose a little bit. But that's okay, because I'm going to go over this. There's a little island here and there's a larger island here. I'm going to go over that one more time. So this will just be the distant mountains. You can camp on the common land. That's cool. Yeah. Well, I appreciate everyone that's joining me today. If you're on your lunch break, so we had someone from South Africa, North Carolina, Staten Island, where else? Scotland. That's pretty exciting. There's our friend from Japan who was here yesterday. Is he here again today? I didn't see him in the list. No, he's not here today. But today's a big printing day for me. After this one, I'm getting back to work on the Kyoto Cat by Jed Henry. I'm doing the third impression on that one today, which is a brown color. It's the color of the wood structure that the cat is standing on. So I already have the paper ready to go. So literally after this stack of paper is complete, I'll be turning off the camera and getting back to work on that print. It's a pretty good workout if you do this all day long. Yeah, I like the water. I like the sky and the water. in this one. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue with water-based pigment on the next impression. I might switch over to oil so I can get some really rich, deep colors into this one just for the final touch. You can only do so many layers with the Mokuhanga before it just doesn't get any richer, it doesn't get any deeper impression. It kind of taps out at a certain level, and I'm almost at that level here with this print. I could do a black. But if I use some oil pigment on top of this, it would really stand out, I think. Now, I don't really have an end result in mind for this one. I just kind of was working this one layer by layer. It was just kind of experimental with the colors and the sky. Let's see. Nice. Marius is still watching from South Africa. Does the oil color damage the block? It doesn't damage the block. If you wipe it off, so I've tested this. I've done some oil printing, and then as long as you wash it off with some mineral spirits, and you really wash it well, right after, while the ink is still, first, you try to get as much ink off the surface, like blot it off with paper first, and then if you wash it really well with mineral spirits, I've tested this, and then I've gone back to water-based pigment, and it printed just fine. I don't know if you've done, if you do like 1,000 impressions in oil, like if that would make a difference, but the one that I did, it was probably around 20, 30 impressions, and then I washed it off the block. But you could also, after it was dry, like say this was printed with oil, and now there's like a little bit left on the surface, you could take a nice flat, because this is a nice flat shape here. You wouldn't be able to do it with like lots of little individual shapes or lines, but you could just take a nice piece of sandpaper, like 200 grit or 300 grit, something real fine, and just open up that grain a little bit. But you're still going to get the moisture is still going to pull into the wood. So I haven't had any problems with it. But no, I would do the oil knowing that I'm not going back to the water base. So it would really just be like a final touch, like the last couple layers in oil. And I know some people probably don't want to see water pigments and oil pigments mixed together on the same print, but I don't really mind. As long as it makes the image and the piece more successful, there's a reason for it, then I think it's totally fine. I mean, the oil is going to last long anyways. It's more light fast. It's less susceptible to damage, mold, light. It's better for lots of things. Yeah, I mean, I don't, yeah, so I think I just answered that question. But as long as you wash it off really good right away and you don't let it dry, you can still use it. But like I said before, if I'm using oil, I'm using oil and then I'm not going back to watercolor. But that would be a good YouTube video, testing a wood block using oil pigment first, and then cleaning it off really well, and then seeing if you can go back to the water pigment. It'll be a nice YouTube video as an experimental video. Maybe I'll do that someday. Man, this is a long one, 72 minutes. I mean, you definitely can't, like, so on paper, you can't print oil first and then the water over it. It's not going to absorb into the paper once the oil is down. So the oil has to be on top of the watercolor on the sheet of paper anyways. The oil will just resist the pigment from entering the paper's fibers. And the same as painting too. Like, you could paint with acrylics on a canvas, which is water-based, and then you can print oils over it. You can't print oils over acrylic. You'll run into cracking and other issues in the future. It won't adhere. The acrylic, the water-based, won't adhere to the oil properly. So this is the size I'm used to, which is like 6 by 8. It's a nice scale to work in for Mokuhanga. Just curious Fluffer Nutter. Do you watch, or Marius? Anyone who else is on here? Scott? You guys watch Dave Bull's Twitch streams? Just curious. Yeah. So Scott says yes, he does. That's great. Yeah, he's really an interesting person to follow. He's doing some really great things over there in Japan with the paper making, and he's really brought some life back into this art form. And he's sharing all of his experiences with the world through YouTube and his Twitch streams, and he's influenced me to get started in this form of printmaking. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I want to make YouTube videos and share my process, because everybody does it a little bit differently, and I'd like to share my story as well moving forward. Just his YouTube, yeah. Well, you can check out his Twitch streams too if you just watch his YouTube videos. They're replayed on Twitch for a couple weeks, I think, after they go live. I think they're up for and it's just Japanese printmaking. If you search that on Twitch, you get some really interesting video, some streams. He does like a show and tell at the end where he shows prints that he gets from auction. A lot of historical references to traditional Japanese woodblock printmaking, which I don't have that experience and that knowledge. But what I do have and what I have to offer is just technical skills and experience based on me doing this for 6+ years. But before this, I was a painter, and I have a mechanical drafting degree, and I've always been in the arts my whole life. So I've constantly been making and creating things my whole life. Hey, thanks Fluffernutter for posting that. Oh, you got a gray wave print? Yeah, I have one too. How long were you waiting before you got that print? I'm guessing like 6 months or a year or something. Probably a really long time, huh? It's amazing how well he's done with that block set. I mean, I wish I could do something like that. But the way they print that thing, the printers that are printing that are amazing. That's a difficult print to make. The gradation in the sky, that light, subtle gradation in the sky, that gradation of the gray, it's really hard to do. Yeah, I have one too. It's actually right next to me. I have it framed, which I need to take it out, I think, because I think the mat is already, let's see here. The mat has already kind of discolored the margin. But yeah, mine's here. This thing is amazing. 3.5 years, huh? This is mine was from the first batch. So I've had this thing for a long time now. But it was the first batch that came off the block set. So I look at that every day of my life, and it's I don't remember if it's printing now. I forgot what I was doing here. So you waited 3.5 years for, I cannot believe that. So he's like 3.5 year wait list. It's amazing. Yeah, back when he was working on that print and he was getting it test printed, and as soon as it went on sale, I bought it. So I got one of the first like 100 or 200 or so. I think it was the first batch. Maybe the second batch. I think the first batch went to specific people first. So it might have been the second printed batch. Yeah, I still haven't gotten over to Japan yet. It's on the bucket list as well. I'd like to go there. Last sheet, guys. The last sheet. For all of you that have been sticking around this whole time, really appreciate you joining me. I'm curious if you guys are printmakers yourselves or if you're just interested in it. Or if you do some other form of art creation. $7,000, oh my god. That number, 7,000, they might not ever get that print. I don't know, are they cutting a second block set for that now or what? Because they really need to run a couple block sets if that's the case. Because I know they dry it out so it doesn't get worn out. But they would benefit from having a second block set. So Fluff and others learning to carve at the moment. Very cool. What are you carving on? Just curious. What kind of wood? Yeah, you guys did a great job today. I'm proud of you. You're a painter and printmaker. Cool. What kind of printmaking do you do? Atelier Thune. So what do we got going? Oh yeah, so my next print, so I'm done with these now. So they're on the drying rack. So my next printing project, which starts in about 10 minutes after I take a short break, is continuing with this print. I'm doing a brown color, which is in this wooded area behind the cat. So this is next on the list for me. So I'm gonna need a little bit of water, a little bit of snack. Reduction lino cut, nice. Yeah, reduction lino cut, super fun. I do some of that as well. I'd like to do more reduction lino cuts, just because I enjoy carving it. I still use my traditional Japanese chisels and knife on the linoleum, and I really enjoy cutting it, and I can get quite detailed with it. And I'd like to test my ability and see just how detailed I can get. But I don't know. Let me just see if I can pull something up here real quick. See if I have it available. No, it's not in here. Let me see here. Are they here? No. I don't know where they are. That's too bad. Just bear with me for a second. I'm trying to find something. Is it in here? No. Where is it? It's gotta be in here. Not sure. Anyways. Yeah, I had this print that I wanted to show you, but I can't find it at the moment. Anyways, so until next time, I'll have it ready. But yeah, I enjoy doing the reductive lino cut. It's super fun. Oh, you're using, yeah, Feel or Pfeil. Those are really nice chisels. Like really nice quality chisels. So where are you located, Fluffernutter, in the States, or are you the one down in North Carolina? Let me look back. Because you can definitely get cherry wood where you are. Can't find it. Suicidal carving, yeah. Yeah, but once you do it a few times, it's pretty, so registration is an issue because you're putting the block back down on the same exact, depending on how you do the registration. But I always cut my registration the same way if I'm using linoleum. I do it exactly the same way as I do on this block. I leave a little bit extra for the margin, and I do the corner and the flat so that my registration is right on the block. Let's see if I have one here. Oh yeah, here's one. Here's a couple blocks. Oh no, this one I didn't do. This is an old print I did, but I didn't do the registration like that back then. See, I wasn't even printing wood blocks back when I made this, so I just put this into like a jig and then did the registration on top of it. These are old. They're like dried up. Alright guys, hey, I appreciate you guys watching, and I appreciate you joining me. So please be in touch. You can always reach out to me through my website or email if you have any questions. Make sure you check out my YouTube videos when they come out. I'll keep doing these live streams. I really enjoy them, and hopefully you learn something from them. And I will see you next time. North Carolina. Yeah, nice. $1 to $2 a pound. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm happy with the American cherry. It's a really nice wood to carve. And it prints really well. So we're fortunate that we can get access to that. I know some people have trouble finding specific woods. So I just wish we could get better sources of paper, washi, from Japan, because I'm having a really hard time finding a source for washi. And I know everybody is right now because there's not so many people doing it anymore. And finding 100% Kozo washi is hard to come by these days. So I'm always looking for different sources of paper and different kinds of paper to use that could work just as well or similarly. And that's kind of why I'm using the oils a little bit more, because maybe one day I won't be able to get 100% Kozo washi, and I still need to continue printing. So that's why I've been exploring with some more oil-based pigments. So, but we'll see you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of your week, and have a good evening.